Clear thinking begins with doubt. Richard Feynman showed why questioning everything matters. Most people accept ideas without testing them. The mind becomes weak when it accepts things too quickly. When you stop questioning, your brain becomes passive. It only repeats what it has been told. Questioning makes the mind active again. It forces you to check meaning, look at details, and resist false certainty. Each question becomes a mental check. You are not attacking the idea. You are testing it. When you question something, you make your brain work with it instead of just storing it. This builds stronger understanding and reduces mistakes over time. Clear thinking begins the moment you question what you believe. Clear thinking becomes harder when you trust easy answers. The mind loves answers that feel quick and smooth. When something sounds right at once, the brain feels relief and stops working. But easy answers often hide confusion. They skip steps, ignore unknowns, and offer comfort instead of accuracy. You may feel you understand, but the understanding is thin. Feynman explained that you must slow down and test these easy answers. Ask if the answer really fits the facts. Check whether steps were skipped simply because they were hard. Many easy answers fall apart the moment you try to explain them clearly. You think in a sharper way when you stop rewarding your mind for speed and start rewarding it for accuracy. You do not reject all simple answers, but you no longer trust them just because they feel smooth. You think better when you stop accepting easy answers as truth. Clear thinking needs honest checking of what you actually know. Feynman often asked himself a simple question: what do I actually know? This question cuts through noise. It forces you to separate what you truly understand from what you assume or repeat. Most confusion comes from mixing knowledge with belief and not seeing the difference. When you apply this in your own mind, you list what you genuinely understand and what you only feel is true. You notice that some things you speak about with confidence were never examined. They are habits, not knowledge. Feynman used this question to find solid ground before thinking further. Clear reasoning must start from points that are actually understood. When you do the same, your thinking gains stability. You are less likely to build long chains of logic on top of guesses. Strong thinking begins when you separate real knowledge from assumption. Clear questioning works best when ideas are broken into small parts. Feynman often broke ideas into simple pieces because large ideas can hide weak structure. When you hold a big idea as one block, you cannot see which part is strong and which is weak. Smaller parts reveal where the logic works and where it fails. You begin to break ideas down on purpose. You ask what the main parts are. Then you take each part and ask simple questions. What is this? How does it work? Why is it here? Each piece becomes something you can examine and test. This turns a vague topic into a set of clear components. You do not feel lost inside a complex mass. You follow short, simple steps. If one part cannot answer a basic question, you know exactly where the problem is. Clear understanding grows when each part of an idea can answer simple questions. Clear thinking requires clear words. Many people use words they cannot explain. They speak confidently, but if asked to define a key term, they struggle. The word becomes a mask covering a gap in thinking. When an idea feels vague, you ask what the word actually means. If you cannot answer in simple language, the idea is not clear. This removes confusion at the root. Feynman treated words as tools, not decorations. Each term needed to point to something real and understandable. When you do the same, your thinking becomes precise. Words stop being placeholders and gain solid meaning you can explain. Your speech and thoughts become aligned. You say only what you can support with clear explanation. You drop terms that sound smart but do not add clarity. Thought becomes clear when every word has simple, solid meaning. Questioning becomes powerful when it follows a clear line of logic. Feynman questioned ideas in a sequence. He did not jump from one random point to another. Each question came from the answer before it. This created a clean structure. He could see where he started, how each step followed, and where he ended. You can use the same approach. When you ask a question and get an answer, do not stop. Ask what follows from it. Ask what the next step is if this is true. This creates a chain of reasoning you can examine from start to finish. As you follow this chain, weak links appear. A step may not really follow from the one before it. There may be a jump relying on an unchecked assumption. You can then repair or remove that step. Reasoning becomes stronger when each question leads clearly to the next. Clear thinking requires exposing assumptions that work in the background. Hidden assumptions are ideas you accept without noticing them. Feynman searched for these constantly because they distort reasoning. They create shortcuts that feel right but lack tested understanding. You may build an argument on something you never proved or named. You begin to look for these hidden elements. When you think through an idea, ask what you are assuming. You may be assuming a rule is always true, a source is always correct, or a pattern will never change. When you question assumptions, you bring them into the open. If they are solid, you keep them with more confidence. If they are weak, you replace or remove them. In both cases, your thinking becomes cleaner. Thinking becomes clear when you question the assumptions beneath your ideas. Simple questions can reach the core of complex problems. Feynman used basic questions like "What is happening here?" or "What is the real cause?" These questions look simple, but they cut through confusion. They push you to see what is actually going on, instead of getting lost in details or complicated language. When a topic feels tangled, you step back and ask a simple question about the main point. You do not try to solve everything at once. You try to find the center first. Often, that alone shows why the idea felt confusing. Simple questions remove decoration. They stop you from hiding behind advanced terms or long explanations. They direct your mind to the core structure that must be clear before anything else can make sense. Deep understanding comes from simple questions that reach the core of an idea. Questioning can turn single ideas into general thinking tools. When you question an idea deeply, you find its basic pattern. This pattern becomes a mental modeler, simple structure you can reuse. Feynman built many such models. They were not tied to one topic. They captured how things worked at a deeper level. You can do this too. After understanding something, ask what the simple rule is or what general pattern lies behind it. The answer becomes a model you can carry with you. Later, when you meet a new problem, you compare it to your models. If the pattern fits, you can use the same logic again. This makes your thinking faster and more flexible because you are reusing clear structures instead of starting from zero. A strong mind grows when questioning creates mental models. You can use anywhere. Clear questioning must also be turned on yourself. Feynman insisted that you must not fool yourself, and you are the easiest person to fool. The mind likes to feel right. It pushes away doubt and hides weak points. Honest questioning breaks this habit. When you ask whether something is actually true or whether you truly understand it, you force your mind to face its limits. You notice where you were too quick to agree with yourself. You see arguments you accepted because they felt good, not because they were solid. This can feel uncomfortable, but it is useful. It turns false confidence into clarity. Feynman used this self-checking to keep his thinking sharp. He treated his own ideas as objects to test, not treasures to protect. You can do the same. When you question your beliefs, explanations, and memories with patience, your thinking becomes stronger. Your mind becomes harder to fool. Questioning becomes powerful when it is part of daily life. Feynman questioned everything, not as a special method, but as a natural way of thinking. Each question kept his mind active. Each small doubt kept his logic clean. Over time, questioning became a reflex. You can build the same habit. Each day, when you read, listen, or think, add simple checks. What does this really mean? How do I know this is true? What am I assuming? These small moves reshape your thinking style. As this becomes normal, confusion does not last long. Weak ideas do not stay hidden. Understanding grows deeper because nothing is accepted without at least a quick test. A sharp mind develops when questioning becomes your natural habit. The central insight of Feynman's approach is simple. Clarity comes from questioning. Clear thinking is not built on collecting answers. It is built on asking the right questions again and again. When you question ideas, words, steps, and assumptions, you force your mind to understand instead of guess. This creates clarity that lasts. Each honest question becomes a step towards stronger thinking. You are not attacking the world. You are refining how you see it. Over time, this makes your mind steady, precise, and less easily fooled. The strength of your thinking does not come from how much you know, but from how carefully you question what you believe you know. Clear thinking begins when you choose to question everything with simple, honest logic.